morning, happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Whew, it is a warm day, and I am sitting in this hot car and not turning it on to save gas. Well, you must be thinking, okay, Nick, why have you woke us up this early? Well, for those who do not know, I actually just posted a video, or I am currently posting a video, of my review of Avengers Endgame. That's right, most likely, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest movie of the summer, and it's not technically summer for like another couple weeks, and I don't even have a watch. So I decided, you know what, I never really do an in-depth spoiler review. Of course, I'm going to call this an in-depth observation or an in-depth analysis. I don't know what either one of those words mean. But basically, instead of me saying I'm going to have a spoiler review, I'm just going to go in depth of the film and talk about the film and talk about things I liked about the film. Now, if you do not want to know anything that happens in this movie, you are going to want to just stop here, go watch it, and then come back, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But for those who have already watched the film, I'm going to go in depth about this film and what I thought about it. And for those who can hear the birds chirping, they're part of the video too. So, Avengers Endgame. This movie felt so big. This movie felt like it was the end of a long chapter that started almost 10 years ago. I don't remember the exact date when Tony Stark's Iron Man came out. or Marvel's Iron Man came out. I want to say it came out in like maybe 2008. But the fact that it either started in 2008 or 2009 and it has ended in 2019, we have been watching these movies for a decade. And this movie feels like the closing of the first book in a mini-series of novels. That's what this movie feels like. That's how big this movie feels. And the fact of the matter is, this movie hits you really big. It makes you feel like this movie is important. It makes you feel like this movie is a very big moment. Now, something that's actually really good about this movie is you do not have to go back and watch the other Marvel movies to know what's going on, besides Avengers Infinity War. Just to make sure, and I was like, well, Nick, you actually need to watch Avengers Infinity War. Yeah, in order to understand what's going on in this movie, you would need to go back and watch Avengers Infinity War. But like I said in my other video, this movie is 3 hours long. So grab a snack, grab a drink, try to take as many try to go to the bathroom before, as many times you can before the movie. Alright, so Avengers Endgame is the final movie in at least like phase 3, because they're probably planning phase 4, of where you have the Avengers of who is left. We have people like, you've got Captain America who's left, Black Widow who's left, Hawkeye who's left, you got Hulk who's still around. And you have basically a lot of the original team of the Avengers, including Tony Stark and Gamora's sister. And this movie just shows how the last movie really hit them, especially Tony. Tony, who took Star-Lord's ship with Nebula to basically go and find Thanos and is stranded out in space. And the fact of the matter is that freaking Robert Downey Jr., I don't know if this was like effects or whatever, but it looked like he had to starve himself because like how skinny he looked. They actually had a scene where he passed out. I honestly don't know if that was real, but if it was, that is method acting, people. Tony Stark just looks defeated, and when they finally bring him back, like you can just tell Tony is basically done. He doesn't know what else he can do. He went and tried, and he failed, and he's gone for like a good portion of the movie. And then everything is basically kind of put on the shoulders of freaking Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, because without Tony, there's no one else to basically be ahead of the family. Of course, though, you know, you've got Cap, but like the movie basically shows what everybody else was doing after Endgame, because they had after Infinity War, because they had no idea what to do. You've got freaking Steve going to like these military talking groups, you know, talking about how, you know, like whenever things like this come, like, you know, we got to move on. And that's what everybody basically did. Everybody moved on. Tony Stark moved on to have a family. Bruce Banner ended up finally figuring out what to do with the Hulk and was able to become Professor Hulk. I think that's right. I don't know. Don't quote me on that if I'm wrong. You've got freaking Natasha Romanoff practically taking ahead of the Avengers and basically trying to keep the world safe from like what minimal crimes are left. And the fact of the matter is, this movie also does a great job of showing the world, like what the world looks like. We see like what New York City looks like with it being mostly abandoned. Like you see empty streets, you see an empty baseball stadium. You just see how much this has hit everybody. And it even shows us what Hawkeye was doing when the snap happened. That's actually how the movie starts. It shows him playing with his family, then the snap happens, and then that's how the movie starts. Now, one thing I actually did kind of find funny, but also kind of did bother me, is how Ant-Man got out of the quantum realm. And it just so happens that it was the most important character, and I'm glad we got a cameo for this character. A mouse, or a rat, is what basically frees Scott Lang from the quantum realm, and this is where he comes up with the idea. He goes to Captain America, he goes to Black Widow, and he's basically like, alright, look guys, I came back, something bad happened, and actually, we kind of see it through Ant-Man's eyes. We see of how, when he comes back, it's been 5 years, so his daughter is grown up, and like, Ant-Man is kind of like our visual to show us, like, you know, what's happened, what everybody's been doing, and basically how we play catch-up. And it was just so interesting to see like how they're going to do this with the time travel, and they basically say that the quantum realm works differently in time than actual time itself. So he said, yeah, it's been 5 years, I've been in there for 5 hours. So basically they get the idea of going back in time through the quantum realm so they can each collect an Infinity Stone, collect them, make the snap, reverse everything that has happened. And like how they were able to bring all the movies together, this is how they did it. Each person basically went to a time when the Infinity Stones were around. So like you've got the very first Avengers movie, the Tesseract and the Mind Stone. You've got Thor: Dark World with the Reality Stone. You have an epic scene between Hawkeye and Black Widow. This is like this is how they brought their relationship together, and how we had the end of Black Widow's character, of where they go to the planet where the Soul Stone is, and you basically have like them talking about how Flint, Hawkeye cares for Black Widow, and how Black Widow cares for him. So like each one is saying, I'm gonna sacrifice me, no, I'm gonna sacrifice myself. And it's just like this tearjerker, just like these two trying to sacrifice one another and doing anything they can to save the other. And it was just a heart-wrenching moment to do whatever they had to do to get the Infinity Stones. We even see a little bit of Winter Soldier in here too, when Cap goes to get the Tesseract and ends up having to basically pretend to be Hydra. And just like each person's mission, Hulk has to go get the Time Stone, so he ends up talking to what's-her-face from Doctor Strange, and basically saying, okay, look, Doctor Strange gave Thanos the Time Stone. And in this, we have Thanos basically doing his thing. This is like way before, you know, back in time, like around the time of the first Avengers movie. That's kind of like when this movie takes place. A majority of the time it takes place back in the first Avengers movie, when he is invading on New York and basically wanting everybody to get him the Tesseract because he already had the Mind Stone. And we see like other versions of Nebula and Gamora, and how they were able to bring Gamora back was really great. The best scene in the freaking movie is at the end, where we have Robert Downey Jr.'s departure as Iron Man when he is fighting Thanos. And the fact of the matter is, Thanos in this movie doesn't pull any punches. Like we got a glimpse of Infinity War, of how he was able to just like take everybody down. But in this, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter if he's fighting Thor or Captain America or Iron Man at the same time. Without the Infinity Gauntlet, he is still able to take them down. This movie did a significant job with showing just how powerful he really is without the Infinity Gauntlet. And this movie was just something to behold. It was a great experience, and I was so glad that I got to see it. And the fact of the matter is that there's even a theory that the snap made everything worse. So who knows, maybe the snap is bringing about Phase 4. Who knows? Another best scene in the entire movie is when, after they do the snap, they literally bring everybody back. They bring every single hero, from freaking Star-Lord to freaking Hawkeye to freaking Winter Soldier to Groot to Drax to Spider-Man. We got Spider-Man back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Spider-Man is back. And the fight was just so epic. And the best part is, we finally got Captain America to utter the phrase, Avengers Assemble. Hearing that, oh, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, we've been waiting so long to get that line. And how they also gave the Avengers their classic outfits, with them basically having to use them to time travel. You know, that was a really interesting way on how they did that. I really liked it. This movie was just so fun. Unfortunately, it is 3 hours long, but it is such a fun film. You will not care. The ending battle is so good. The choreography is amazing. The effects are amazing. The chemistry between everybody is amazing. The best part of the movie, another good part of the movie in the fight, is when Captain America is able to lift Mjolnir. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Not only do we have Stormbreaker, but we have Mjolnir. And another thing that I honestly didn't touch on is how the snap and everything affected Thor. This movie, or like these events, really affected Thor the most, because like we have Chris Hemsworth in a fat suit, but he has basically gone down the, I'm drunk, there's nothing I can do, I'm playing Fortnite with my friends from Thor Ragnarok, and basically popping bottle caps off with Stormbreaker. And when they go back to get the Reality Stone, there is a funny scene where it's with him and Rocket. Everybody gets split up into teams, and they go to Thor's world, so that before they leave, he's like, I've got to go, oh wait! Like, he's reaching for Mjolnir, and Rocket's like, wait, what's going on here? And his mother's like, oh, sometimes it takes a while. And he has Mjolnir back. And watching Captain America and Thor fight Thanos with Stormbreaker and Mjolnir was amazing. And actually, a lot of people are wondering, well, how is it possible that Captain America could lift Mjolnir? Well, the theory actually is that the reason why he wasn't able to lift it in Avengers Age of Ultron is because of where he kept that secret from Tony about him knowing how his mother and father died. But when he revealed that secret, that cleared him of his conscience and made him worthy. That's the theory. But like the fact that like, they were able to go toe-to-toe with Thanos and use Mjolnir, and the fact of the matter is, another thing, they brought the Vision from freaking Avengers Age of Ultron with like showing Captain America's shield being broken in half. And I was like, oh my gosh, this just gets better and better every single time. And like you have a moment like where Cap and Thor are looking at each other, and he gives him Mjolnir. He's like, no, I like the big one. You can use the little one. It works with you better. And like we have Captain America using lightning and stuff like that. It was just so epic. And to see the end where like during like this whole entire movie, Thanos is basically being like, no matter what you do, I am inevitable. He's able to use future Nebula to basically find out what's going on, and then he asks Nebula from that timeline to basically go replace her, to replace the other version of her so she can bring Thanos. And there's just like this really calm moment. Everyone's like, did we get everything? Did we get everything? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like you got Hawkeye with Nebula, and she's like, Father, I've got the Infinity Stones. And then you just see this reaction on Hawkeye's face, but oh crap. And that is when the crap hits the fan. That is when you know things are about to get really interesting and just wrecked. Thanos comes in, just starts wrecking everybody. He wrecks the freaking, he wrecks the Avengers Tower, or whatever it is now. And they even had to build an Infinity Gauntlet with Iron Man technology, and how that worked in the end, that was great. The best way that they ended this movie was at Tony Stark's funeral, and just showing the line of heroes that we got to that we came to know and love. And it was just such a magnificent send-off. I didn't say for the after credits, but I've heard that they're not really anything, but Phase 4 is apparently gonna happen, and like we see, almost everybody goes off to have a normal life, including Captain America, who actually, when he takes the Infinity Stones back in time, to put them back, we get an older Captain America. He's no longer big and buff. He's an old man, and he hands off the mantle to Sam, aka Falcon. And Falcon is going to be the next Captain America. I don't know why Bucky's not Captain America, but whatever, it's fine. But ladies and gentlemen, Avengers Endgame, I not only strongly recommend you go watch this movie, but when it comes out on DVD, buy the movie. This movie is going to be sealed, I can't think of the word, it's going to just be sealed in history as one of the greatest movies of all time. Guys, thank you so much for staying with me this early in the morning, and you all are probably being like, Nick, can we please go back to bed? Well, yes, my viewers, you can go back to bed. Thank you for sticking around, and don't forget to check out my YouTube channel where I have other reviews and other many numerous things and ideas, and I am working to bring out you guys some videos this coming summer. Have a good day, guys. It's hot, so try to do your best to stay cool. Have a good day, guys.